Welcome to episode 1 of the Did You Cook Rice podcast. I am Donovan.
And my name is Chris.
And we are your hosts of this brand new podcast that we are starting today. How you feeling, Chris?
I'm pretty good. Little light day of work.
Yeah.
And, really, it's just the commute that kills me. Work is going very well. New job, new commute is not too well. Thank you.
Yeah, living in Washington, I think that's definitely one of the worst parts about just being here in general.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, 100%, especially on 405, bruh. They're always doing construction. They're taking notes from Tacoma.
They are. Don't bash Tacoma. For those people out of state, Tacoma's a good city. Though it has a lot of bad rep and bad connotation to it, but don't let the haters fool you.
Second home.
All right. Well, this is the first episode, and a lot of you are probably wondering what we're doing here, what we're going to be talking about, and to give you guys a little bit of introduction, we're just going to go ahead and dive right into, I guess, explaining both who we are and kind of our history together to give you guys a good background and to really start things off.
Yeah, I think that'd be really good for people that already know us or kind of just met us, or people that are listening that don't know us at all, right? I think it's good to build a foundation like that, see if it's worth your guys' time to invest more time into listening to this podcast, and we really hope that you guys do. I mean, for the most part, we're just going to be shooting the shit, but at the same time, it's like, we want to teach people something, too.
Right.
So that's kind of the point of podcasts. But go ahead, you start. How the hell do I know what income is?
So we're going to take a trip down memory lane, and I think our trip is going to start all the way back in elementary school. So right now, I'm 27. You're also...
I'm 27. I turned 28.
Yeah!
In like 3 weeks now? A few weeks. we are old. Stop playing.
All right, but we're going to take it back all the way to elementary school when we first met each other. So I moved here to Washington in 2nd grade, and you've been here like pretty much your whole life, right?
Yeah, so I was born in Seattle, and I lived there until right before I started kindergarten. And kindergarten is when I moved to like Auburn/Federal Way.
Okay.
Yeah. Got you.
Yeah, I moved to Seattle from Hawaii, where I spent like kindergarten, 1st grade. And then officially, like in Washington, 2nd grade.
That's when I met you, 2nd grade.
2nd grade is when we met. And from my understanding, we weren't in the same class.
No, I don't think ever.
Who was your 2nd grade teacher?
Miss Anderson.
Anderson?
Yeah.
Okay.
How the hell? Do you remember yours?
Miss Donovan.
Oh, that's right.
That's the only reason why I remember her name.
Yeah.
But she got married like shortly after that, and then I don't know what she changed her name to.
I don't know, man. Maybe Miss Hall. I wouldn't even be surprised if it was Miss Hall. I've known so many.
I feel like it's just like a generic.
That's a teacher name.
Like if your last name is Hall, you already know your career path.
Go be a teacher.
It's just like the chosen one. All right, but elementary school is when we both first met. Do you recall like what happened when we first met, or how we even met?
So here's the funny thing. In 1st grade, that was kind of when I started really making friends, because after preschool, I moved to Auburn and I went to Lake Dolph. But we met in Valhalla, which is the elementary school that I spent the rest of elementary school in. So that's kind of where my childhood foundation of friends started.
So it was kind of like a new thing for you too.
Yeah, in a way. But I mean, I was there for a year before I met you.
Okay.
So 1st grade I spent at Valhalla.
Oh, okay.
But I met 2 Filipino dudes there. And that's when I also started associating myself with Filipinos. So I was like, oh shit. Like,
dang, it's a young age.
At such a young age, right?
Such a young age.
No, it's funny because I remember this vividly. It was like, we went to our parents. I'm not going to name drop them right now, but we went to our parents and we're like, hey, we started this Filipino club. It wasn't a real club. We just called ourselves.
Yeah.
It's like me and 2 other dudes. And then I think what it was that when I met you for the first time, I don't remember specifically at all when I first ever met you, but I was like pretty sure this guy's brown.
Yeah.
Like he's Asian, but not Asian.
You're like using whatever context clues you can.
Right. At that age, I felt like I could at least identify when someone might be like me. And I was, yeah.
Filipino club.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just don't remember getting close to you at all in elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest.
No, I feel that. I guess to kind of go off of that, I don't have any recollection. As I was thinking about the content for, what we're going to introduce ourselves as and like how we've known each other.
Right.
I don't recall us ever being like super close in like elementary school. We were like more acquaintances.
Yeah.
I think you're close with Amit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think I had the same class with Amit, and Amit used to bully me in second grade, and I think that's how like we started talking. I was like, I fucking hate these guys. I was like,
getting bullied by Amit.
Bullied by Amit is crazy. But for those who don't know, Amit's a really cool guy. He's super chill. We actually ended up he ended up going to college with us like later.
Yeah,
I had classes with him. We were both doing business at the time, and
hell yeah.
So it was nice to reconnect again. He didn't bully me in college though. But yeah, when it came down to elementary school, it was just
we knew of each other. Right. And I was fond of the idea of another Filipino dude. That I did.
Joining your Filipino club.
Right. I did, dude. Didn't you also perform at like a talent show or some shit?
I did.
You brought your hook out.
Like 4th or 5th grade.
You played your oud?
Yeah.
See, that I remember.
That was like, I don't even know why I wanted to do that. It was probably the most like fear-driving thing I've ever done in my life.
Really?
Up until that age. Yeah, I was like, this is true. I was like fucking like shaking, like practicing like the same 4 chords for like weeks.
Do you remember?
I want to say it was Honey Baby by like 3+. I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It was like the most random song that I could, but it was easy. And like, yeah. It was good.
That's dope.
It was a good way to put myself out there, and I was like, I never want to do this again in my life.
Right. Okay. Sidetrack. Okay, moving on. Main track. Look.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll move it on. So this is the crazier part. In middle school, you decided to go to nerd school.
It wasn't nerd school.
Yes,
Considering my education.
Fucking nerds went there. You went to FWAPA. What does FWAPA stand for?
Federal Way Public Academy.
Right. And then I went to regular ass public middle school, Kylo, which is kind of the direction that everyone else went, was either Kylo or Totem from Valhalla, right? Those were the, So we basically never talked in middle school too. Like, I remember specifically, I think it was like one random ass time in 8th grade. I don't know how, but we found each other on Xbox.
Was it 8th grade? I thought it was like 7th or 8th.
It was one of the. It was one of the later years.
Yeah. I think it was through John.
It was John.
I think it was through John. Or it might have been Amit again.
God damn it, Amit. We need that man's on the podcast.
Get Amit on the podcast.
Yeah, I was super close with Amit in middle school.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Because it might have been through him. But
it was definitely through Xbox.
It was through Xbox. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh shit, no way, like, I remember you remember me. And then we played each other in Marvel, and you whooped my ass, and I was like, I'm never playing this game again.
Yo, shout out Marvel vs. Capcom, the best game ever created.
So, that was pretty much it through middle school. Like, we didn't hit each other up. We didn't hang out.
Like ripping Call of Duty and like chatting it up on Xbox Live.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't think we hung out in middle school.
No.
It wasn't until like high school.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We kind of,
yeah,
I guess started hanging out more in person.
Yeah. So do you remember in high school when or what?
What we...
How?
Or what was the encounter that I guess got us close? I want to say it was... So fast forward, we're in high school now.
Yeah.
I want to say it was photography class.
Yeah.
Yep. With Mr. Reston.
Seven Fury.
Rest in peace.
All right, Mr. Reston.
But yeah, we took photography for a whole year, and usually we were on a semester based system.
Yeah.
So like you would normally take it for 1 quarter, or not 1 quarter, but 1/2 of the year, and then you drop it the rest of the year.
Right.
But we took photography for a whole year. and I would say we learned a lot, but we didn't really do shit in photography.
I don't think anyone really did.
No, we were kicking it.
It's crazy because like these cameras are worth thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
and we're being, like our dumbasses are just being entrusted to walk around with them and take pictures outside. Like, so we take like 1 or 2 pictures, go back to the room and like play cards or something.
Yeah, 13. It was during a time where like everyone had like smartphones.
Yeah,
but it wasn't as, I guess, prominent during the time.
Right.
Like we were still able to like chit chat and do whatever we wanted. No one was like watching TikToks and stuff in the middle class.
Damn, that's true. I actually didn't even think about that.
Yeah, and we're back. Chris, what happened?
So, in the middle of us talking, we're just having a great conversation as usual, and then we just hear a little beep. Camera died. I don't know if it died because we plugged it back in and there's like 2 bars on it. So, I rarely ever use this camera. It's a beautiful camera, but we're trying to utilize it, and it's got a baby ass battery.
Baby ass battery.
So it dies really quickly. So I'm trying to keep it plugged in and let it charge while it's going. Hopefully that's working now. I don't know. We moved some things around. We'll see.
Okay, but we're just gonna let it rock. To pick up kind of where we were last at, we were talking about social media and how it's, I guess, kind of different.
Right.
In terms of, I guess, like if we were in high school now.
Yeah. Which
is pretty crazy to say. But I think if we look at it now, like I would much rather have it how it was when we went to high school.
For sure.
I feel like there's a lot of like disconnect when it comes to social media now that you have these like group settings. Like it's so easy to just like jump on your phone and kind of disengage with, I guess, everything going on.
Yeah. See, I feel like we kind of, everyone did that, but it's different from how, kids in school do it now.
Yeah.
If you compare it, it's like the way you disengage now, again, you said it, this fucking $1,200 computer that's in your pocket, you can do whatever you want with it.
Exactly. You can be watching,
right.
I guess, like videos from like halfway across the world.
Yeah.
And like just doing like completely, there's just more that I guess social media offers back than what it was back then.
Exactly.
I would say.
I was going to say, like, for us, though, the way we disengaged was kind of more so interacting with each other.
Yeah.
Right? And that's kind of always how it has been, even like with our parents when they're in school, our aunts and uncles, older cousins, older siblings. And that's kind of how we got close, because there wasn't really shit to do in photography.
Right.
So why not just kick it with the homies that
we literally had like one of the most like random and diverse groups of people.
Yeah.
Just like together. And the thing was, like, as time went on and we had a new semester, there was just like more people that would just like kick it with us in like that same like group type of setting.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's like something that is really cool that I always look back on as well.
Right.
But transitioning, I guess like shifting gears into that, I think like we said, high school is definitely like a time where we got a lot closer.
Yeah.
I will say leadership was a huge factor in that.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something I do want to say about that. So I remember specifically in photography.
Yeah.
So that was kind of when you and I also joined forces in running for class office.
Oh, that was right.
That's kind of how we got into leadership.
Yeah.
Was because we ran for class office and we got elected.
That's true.
Yeah. So I was kind of doing it as like I don't know what the hell this is. Like, I feel like people know me and I have a good chance, so why not?
Running for like class office.
Yeah, and stuff. Exactly. I didn't know what it entailed.
Neither did I. I ran for something, I want to say it was in like 6th grade or 7th grade.
Yeah.
I don't think I even got it, but I was like, what the fuck is the point of doing any like whole electoral system in like middle school and high school?
Exactly.
Now, to this day, I still don't know what the fuck we did. We just kind of, we organized like school dances and stuff. I guess it kind of becomes more important when you're like a senior in high school, because then you start planning like dances and graduations. But honestly, leading up to it, it's kind of just like, it's whatever. Yeah. I guess you're on committees when it comes to like dances and things.
Yeah, that's actually something I wanted to touch on too, though. Yeah. Shout out, first of all, to Coley, the leadership teacher, Mr. V.
Coley Viedenhuis.
Oh my goodness, that man he changed the direction of leadership at that school. So from what I heard, it was kind of non-existent, or I mean, it was there. Obviously, it had to be there, like class office and shit like that is at every school.
Yeah.
But he kind of made it more. I don't know. Like students yearned more to be in leadership when he was around.
Yeah.
That's at least what I noticed. So we became like the quote unquote preppy high school.
Yeah, and I don't know. I never really realized it until like you kind of bring it up now, but. I think he did set like a good precedent for what leadership like is. Like,
yeah.
I think a lot of the values and things that he taught back then kind of carry with me. I guess to how I like react to things and like go about my day and like as an adult. Right. So that is a huge like shout out to him when it comes to things like that.
Right.
Yeah, leadership.
Yeah. So it kind of started off as a joke, and then it became honestly it became really meaningful.
Yeah.
Like it helped me not necessarily get through high school because I personally enjoyed school in general. I didn't mind the schoolwork. I didn't mind, going to school because that meant I got to go see the homies, get to see friends.
True.
Like
that was something to look forward to every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think as we've kind of grown up and we're living in our adult years, that's kind of like one of the things I miss is like being able to wake up every day and like see your friends like all the time. Like
right.
It's so much harder to do that because you have work and you have other extracurricular activities that you have to go do, and it's even hard for that. But like being able to wake up and see your friends every single day, like that's a cool thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
no, 100%.
So I would say that's like one of the main things I miss from like that time in like high school. Yeah. But to go back to what we were kind of talking about and like I guess our relationship and how we know each other. Yeah, dude, high school is definitely like a time where we really hit it off. I would say that we did have like a lot of more like mutual friends and like we were just going to like the same like social outings and like gatherings. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was a good time. Yeah, it's a good time.
100%. That's where it kicked off and kind of solidified. And you and I, actually, this is kind of like the one last thing I want to add about high school before we move on to college. That's kind of where we started calling each other cousin.
Yeah. Yes.
So we were just like, I don't want to sound like a fucking conceited asshole, but like, we were in leadership, we were in class office, so we had to kind of be well known, right? Mm-hmm. Like amongst our peers, amongst like the younger people.
You're in like a public figure.
Exactly. At that point, right? And so like people would just mix us up all the time. I mean, we're both short. I mean, I'm attractive. I don't know about you, but like short, attractive brown dudes, and like I just get called Donovan like every other day.
Yeah,
and it's just like
it was just the more attractive one. That's why.
All right, buddy.
No, but yes, I don't know if like I would call it like racist. Or people were just fucking stupid, or they're just lazy. To like,
there's a fine line between racism and ignorance. Right?
I think racism is kind of pushing it. But if you're watching this and listening to it, we're two different people.
Right. If you ever called me Donovan before, first of all, fuck you. No, I'm just kidding.
I think this podcast is going to be a good way to. Really set the boundaries.
Right.
People are going to learn today who we are and like that we're not the same person. Or they're going to listen to it and be like, yo, why is he talking to himself?
Bro, like, okay, so it really did get to a point where I was just like, I was annoyed at first, but I was just like, it's going to keep happening. Like, I get it all the time. Like, that was my response. Like, I get that all the time. Like, it's cool, man. Like, don't sweat it. He's my cousin. Like, we grew up together.
Right. And then we just, like, let it rock. And to this day, like, we're cousins.
Bro, it's weird because, like, we have a good amount of, like, close friends now that still don't know if we're cousins or not.
Yeah, they're going to listen to this.
Bro, Binal and Gigi were arguing about it like a month ago at that party over here. And then I think it was Gigi that was saying, like, yeah, they're cousins for real. And Binal's like, no, they're fucking not.
No, they're not. I think I had Gigi fooled. Yeah. There's times where like people like will press me about it, and I'm just like dying on the hill. I'm like, yeah, we're cousins. I do the same thing with Paula too. Yeah. But people still don't know.
Some people just they're whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're at that point.
Yeah. But I guess to kind of go back upon that, the whole situation of people mistaking you for someone that might look like you. At work, this has happened to me too.
Word.
I have a coworker, I think he's Hispanic and Fijian. But he's also like a shorter brown male. But this guy has like a full-on beard. And people still get us mixed up. And they're like, oh, you know, I was just talking to you the other week. And I'm like, I was off the whole week. And then they like, there's a truck driver that came in. And then he was like, hey, Luis. I'm like, dude, I've been here for 3 years. And this guy just started like a year and a half ago. Like 2 years. Like,
That is insane.
I see you all the time.
I ain't work at all last week. I don't know who the hell you were talking to.
But, you know, if it makes you feel any better, it still happens. It might not be you, but it's still happening.
Yeah.
At least you can go into work and not get...
Yeah, it don't happen for me, bro. I work with a bunch of people that are not my skin color.
My skin color, we'll put it that way. That's a good,
we'll put it that way.
Put it that way. I'm going to talk to your HR, your hiring manager, like, yo, there's someone that you really get hired on. Another brown guy.
The brown people.
Diversify the office. Really just put another brown guy in there. But moving on, after high school, going into college, if you want to get things started with this,
yeah.
let me know what happened.
So moving into college, I personally did not. I did not know where I wanted to go to school. I didn't even know whether or not I wanted to go to school to begin with, right? But I applied to UW Seattle, Wazoo, and UW Tacoma.
Gotcha.
Those were the only three schools I applied to. I got accepted to all three. Did not want to go to Wazoo.
Yeah.
Too far. I didn't want to leave my family. I had a girlfriend at the time. I didn't want to leave her.
Mm-hmm.
And then UW Seattle and UW T. I mean, I figured UW was the safest option, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know why I chose to go to UW T over UW Seattle, but I'm actually really glad I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I got accepted to UW T and I enrolled there. Do you want to do your background real quick of where you applied?
Let's see where I applied. I think I only applied to Wazoo, UW Tacoma, and UW Seattle. So the same.
Mm-hmm.
I got accepted to Wazoo and UW Tacoma, and I think I got waitlisted for UW Seattle. But I just didn't want to go through with like the whole waitlist process because there's so much. Like growing up in Washington, like WSU and UW are like the main colleges that people go to, and it's so competitive to try to just get back on there.
Right.
And there's like outstanding kids who are like 4.0s and like 3.8s like out the door. Mm-hmm. That I just, in terms of like actually like academics, I was like, I'm not a part of that, and like I'm content being waitlisted. Like I'll just move on. And I had better opportunities financially over at UW Tacoma, which is kind of why I picked that.
Yeah.
Over them.
For sure.
I will say to this day, I think if I went to Wazoo, I probably would be dead by now in terms of like how much partying I would be doing.
Bro, let me tell you what, man. The stories that I hear of like a lot of my coworkers that went to Wazoo, they tell me all these stories of all the partying, and I know for damn sure.
And it's college. I mean, like that's a given. Like you're gonna party,
right?
So the camera keeps on shitting out on itself.
Yeah.
This is what podcasting is all about, and starting off things great. We'll probably edit this out. This will probably go in the bloopers. This is gonna be so seamless. You won't even know that we stopped 3 times.
Exactly.
But as I was saying, to that extent, to party. If I went to Wazoo and like they're known for being like a party school, like anybody who lives in Washington, like I would have died.
Man,
having like zero self-control throughout college, I would have died.
See, I think that's what it was like a blessing in disguise that there weren't any like frats at UWT. Granted, I'm sidebarring, but we'll go back to this as a main topic of how we got closer, but granted, UWT had like those apartments, Court 17, at the top of the hill. So that's kind of like quote unquote student housing. Because I remember the weird part was like there were 5 floors. 2 of those 5 floors were for regular tenants, so anyone could move in.
Yes.
And 3 of them were owned by UW.
Yeah, that's what it started off
Right.
as. They didn't buy the entire building. They had it segregated in that
Yeah,
sense.
something like that. So that's the blessing in disguise, right? It's like we didn't really have any designated parties or designated areas to party. It was kind of like if you knew somebody, you could go over and kickbacks.
Yeah, you just kind of like hang out at another person's apartment.
Right.
I don't recall a time where like I went to like a legit party.
Yeah.
There was I guess the closest thing to like an apartment party or whatever you want to call it, like a college party at UW Tacoma when we were going there. So they had 2-bedroom apartments, and those were for like 4 people.
Yeah.
And it was during winter break. I decided to stay back in Tacoma because I mean we live in Fairway. It's not too far.
Yeah.
But I was staying back at the apartment, and some people were there still, and all the people that stayed back on the holiday, we just like partied in like one apartment, like apartment building, and those like 2-bedroom apartments in terms of like square footage, like it was pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's probably like 15, almost like 20 people in there, and it just seemed like a lot being in a fucking apartment. Like you have like 15 or 20 people at like a quote unquote college party, you'll be like, yo, this is lame.
Turn it up.
Yeah, but dude, there's like if you put like 4 people in like a bathroom, it just packed. It's just packed.
Sardines.
It's sardines. You got 10 people in one living room, you're just like, yo, this is lit. Maybe I was just like too gone to be like, yo, this is crazy, but I was like,
right.
This is fun.
Just having a good time.
Yeah, everything was just kind of scaled down in a sense.
Yeah, exactly. Like we weren't partying out of our minds to the point where people were like breaking shit. Like you'd hear horror stories of like those kind of like regular college size parties, right?
Yeah.
Like people are fucking going buck wild, like breaking bones and like body shots and shit. This is more like kickback, but a little bit bigger.
That's kind of how like UW Tacoma was,
right?
And I've been to maybe like 1 or 2 like UW Seattle like frat parties. Honestly, you're not missing out on much.
That's what I heard.
It's some pretty gross shit. You're just, I mean, maybe because I didn't go there, but you're just like surrounded by people that you don't really know.
Yeah.
There's like, you know, the floors are sticky. Like they say it's like a rumor, or not a rumor, but like a running joke that like the floors at like a frat house are sticky. But it's fucking disgusting.
It's actually
like people. It's actually sticky.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't even know why. You don't know why.
Disgusting shit.
You don't know why. You don't know why.
You don't know why. It can be anything.
But yeah, man, it's not. I mean, it's cool when you're in like college and experiencing that. But I wouldn't want to go to I would never want to go to a party nowadays where I'm like, the floors are sticky. I'm fucking out.
It's like, do I want to take a chance and sit on this couch that's probably been fucked on like 1,000 times just this quarter?
But you don't know what exchanges of like body fluids are everywhere. Like I'm good.
All right. Rewind. So going into college, you and I.
We both knew we were going to UW.
We both knew,
at one point,
Right.
That's kind of what we were set on as like the summer leading into it.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the most impactful days of like our kind of relationship, our friendship, was the first day of orientation.
Yeah.
When we did hang out with everyone and we kind of met like pretty much who we were kind of going to be talking to and hang out with like the rest of the college experience.
Yeah. For sure. And then we spent the latter half of that summer kind of looking for apartments around campus.
Yes. Because we already went in there knowing we were going to like stay together because we were both coming from, I guess, high school leading into that.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a studio apartment. We wanted, since we were renting it out of pocket, we wanted to save money. So we had another roommate. We had Abe live with us.
Yeah. Oh
that
my God.
Wild.
Jesus.
So imagine three
forgot about
3 fresh out of high school kids on their own living in one studio apartment. Dude, I think that shit was like 300 square feet.
Okay, we made it work.
We made it work.
Granted,
I don't know how.
So it was like a studio, but it had like a little den.
Yeah. It was like the little like living area den. We had like our full size kitchen.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't that small. I feel like
it was small as fuck, bro.
But I don't know how we made it work with 3 people.
But we fit 3 desks in the living room and a TV stand with a
fit
futon and my bed.
You fit a bed in the living room. We had a futon. We had my desk. Where was Abe's desk?
His was in the corner under the light.
Oh my god.
And yours was right next to him.
Oh my god, we had 3 desks.
And then the TV stand right next to you.
We had a TV stand right next to me.
And
we had a full-size kitchen, and then we had our sleeping quarters, like me and Abe's. I had the closet.
Yeah.
He had like storage underneath his bed. I don't know if he shared my closet too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. We fit 3 people in that fucking studio.
We made it work.
That was crazy.
We made it work. And then my bed was just in the living room. So.
But it was fine because me and Abe were in the other room.
Exactly.
And we were just up there.
Yeah.
Dude, what a time to be alive. I could not live like that. Would you?
Hell no, bro. You see the size of our room now? That's still not enough.
Your room is like the size of our apartment.
Dead ass. Bro, like I have my bed, I have a little like love sofa, and then my desk, and like I still feel like that's hella small.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't even know how I fit everything I wanted to fit in this studio, let alone share with 2 other people.
Dude, it was insane.
Oh my god, and we shared 1 bathroom. Jesus.
Yes, the bathroom. The bathroom.
Jesus.
1 bathroom, 3 guys. We made it work. It was insane.
It was a time.
And I guess what? So time goes on. We're living it together in that small ass studio apartment.
Yeah.
I got evicted after 2 years. No, I'm just kidding. I just moved back. I moved back with my parents.
Wait, so Abe didn't even live with us for the whole year, though, right?
I don't know if it was a whole year.
It was the whole school year, maybe.
It was
and we stayed during
we had like
summer.
a terrible falling out. That's what we get for having 3 people live in one studio apartment. We're just in shambles. Yeah.
You and I didn't, clearly.
Clearly.
I mean, you're my cousin. Like, how am I supposed to know?
Exactly. But, things just didn't work out. And, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Right. But I moved out, too. And that was after, like, the second year.
So you and I lived alone in that studio the second year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where it's just us.
Too.
Yeah. I moved back. You, what did you do?
I stayed in the same studio, but I got a new roommate.
Yeah.
I got David Liu. Shout out my guy David.
Yo, shout out David if you're listening.
Shout out Dave. No, he's gonna listen for sure. David, fuck you. I'm just kidding. I love you, bro. Shout out you. We need to kick it.
You know what's super funny? Whenever I see him, he's like, "Yo, where's Chris?"
Exactly.
Yeah.
At least he doesn't say, "Yo, where's Donovan?"
Right. When he's like, "Yo, where's Chris?" I'm like, "I don't know." Go find him. Yeah, and that's kind of where. I mean, we still saw each other on campus from time to time, but it wasn't like as frequent as we were when we were living together.
Yeah.
And we still kept in touch. We would still like hang out and like have like
After classes, sometimes you'd come kick it at the apartment, or we'd go kick it at Alex's apartment. Yes.
Yeah. But we'd still find time to like kick it, and like because we had similar friend groups throughout those things.
And that's when we also gamed a lot more together. We played Xbox like every night.
Yes, I remember. I know for a fact I was gaming like crazy.
Yeah.
But you also started gaming more.
Yeah.
And then that's also how we met like other close friends that we kind of talk to till this day.
Right.
Was through playing games and being social in that aspect too.
You started raving and I didn't.
Yeah. So that's when I like fresh out of like college started raving. Yeah. I think that's how I met like a lot of people too.
Yeah.
Is like going to raves and being a part of that. That's when like the whole like partying like started.
Was raving?
Yeah. It was just go. Like, oh, this is this weekend. Oh, are you going to this? Yeah, let's go do that too. It was just nonstop.
Yeah.
And dude, I continued that for I want to say so. I started when I was like 18. Dude, it was like nonstop till like 25. And that's like, I think COVID, it kind of like halted things. Maybe a little after that, it kind of like slowed down. But it was just like go.
7 years?
7 years.
I had a good maybe 2 years strong.
Maybe like,
That's wild. I didn't even realize it had been that long.
Yeah. It's gonna be like the 10-year anniversary of
Stop.
that year.
See, okay, so I started, I think my first rave, my God, 2018?
Okay, so then mine's like 2015, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because graduated right after that, 18, yeah.
Yeah, mine was like 2018, and I went pretty consistently for maybe a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second year, I would go to just like bigger festivals or like bigger names. The first year, it was the same. I was like, oh, this is happening this weekend, this is happening this weekend, this is happening this weekend. Jesus Christ, like, first of all, this shit's expensive.
Yeah.
Second of all, I mean, I didn't feel as tired as I do now that I'm an old man.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel, you know, the hangovers or the come downs, what have you.
Yeah.
Back then, I was able to kind of just get up and go.
Dude.
But it was also kind of just tiring.
I know. What a thing like now, like when it comes to raving and like going to these like shows for a long period of time, it's like my feet hurt.
Bro, my feet hurt. Like, bro, every time, is it the Dome where they have the bleachers in the back?
Yes.
Tacoma Dome. God bless you, Tacoma Dome. I be sitting in them bleachers,
dude,
bro.
I just be running off, and I'm like, they're like, oh, where are you going? And like they think I'm like, you know, doing something crazy, like getting lost. Half the time, I'm just trying to find somewhere to sit down. Yo, the cat's out the bag. Just go sit down.
I can't let the homies know I'm tired, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I was like, I'll be back. I gotta go use the bathroom. No, I want to have my feet.
Fuck it. Hey, all my rave friends out there, I'm tired. Okay? I love raving. I will always love it, but I gotta put it in the past, man. Like, I'll go every now and then. If I'm out, then you know where I am. I'm grabbing water. I'm grabbing food. I'm sitting down. I'm sitting my old ass down. I'm grabbing my cane. Okay?
Normalize sitting down.
Normalize it, please. Jesus.
But anyways, wrapping up. Yeah, college is a good time. We definitely spend more time doing like social stuff.
Right.
And then we kind of spent like our time apart when I kind of moved out of the apartment. Which kind of brings us back to, I guess now, like catching everyone up with like what we're doing now. I mean, we don't live together, but we still like hang out, see each other when we do see each other.
Yeah, it's weird because we see each other a lot more now than we did when you moved out during college.
Yes. I think that was definitely a time where I was like doing my own thing.
Yeah.
And then you were doing your own thing.
Yeah.
Respectively.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
It wasn't like any situation where I was like, I ain't gonna talk to you, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But that was a good period, I think, for both of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We learned a lot together. Kind of grew up together too. Like we learned how to fucking pay for rent and shit.
Yeah. Like the whole process of like renting an apartment. Yeah. Insurance, down payments, like things like that. Yeah. Living on your own. Mm-hmm. It was definitely a moving experience, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, now we're kind of at that point where, you know, I will always consider you one of my closest friends.
Yeah, you're close friends, like family, like, for sure.
And actually, I was thinking about it too. I was like, you know, I think Donnie hit me up about doing this podcast because he just misses me. Fucking weirdo. He just wants an excuse to see me more.
It's about to be the last episode.
It's like, I bet, man, I get it. Let's go. Let's do the damn podcast, man.
But no, now I guess to bring it back to like present day, we have started this podcast. We still stay in touch. We still play games like how we used to back then from time to time. And we still have like similar friend groups and still kind of have like similar
It's crazy because like when we parted ways, again, you mentioned it already, like respectively we were doing our own things. Mm-hmm. So obviously we're going to make our own friends and then you're going to make your own friends. For the longest time, especially in high school, we hung out with the same exact people and we were able to do that every single day, right, consistently. Yeah. So we all kind of just like grew together and meshed together that way. But now we're also at that point where friend groups are colliding. Mm-hmm. And that is something that I've always kind of tried to avoid just because not everyone could mesh together well.
I do agree. And for the longest time, I've been like trying to do that. Like I say, oh, I'm hanging out with this friend group on one day, doing this with some other friends on another day. But when you have like these little like friend groups and like people that you talk to, having to, what it felt like was I was like splitting myself into like putting like a lot of eggs in different baskets.
Right.
And as time goes on, you get older, it's harder to maintain those friendships and those, I guess, like social settings and stuff to like a certain level for every single person.
Right.
Yeah. And just like availability and like work and life in general just gets harder.
Yeah.
And I do agree that it's difficult to kind of like mesh those groups and like keep that same energy around all of them. But when you have everyone together and you're able to like hang out and get along, it's easy.
See, that's the other thing too, is you could kind of tell who your closest people are to how much effort you put towards actually seeing each other in the end, right? Because like I've had very close friends in the past that I rarely ever talk to now. Like maybe we'll swipe up on each other's stories, and that's kind of like the maximum amount of communication that we have.
Yeah.
But you and I, it was kind of always like, hey, this might be happening. Are you free? And it's just that mutual understanding that if you're not free, then you're not free. We grown ass men now.
Exactly.
But there's no harm, no foul. I'm not saying that that's the case with all the other people that I don't talk to as much as I do, like compared to you. It's like it's just shit happens, right? But then also there's effort that has to be put forth to seeing that person, even if you guys are both busy, right? It's like, are you consistently trying to ask these people to hang out? And again, that's kind of just who you feel you are closest to.
Yeah,
I guess
I'm a firm believer, and like I preach like being as low maintenance as possible, but kind of like picking up like back where you started next time. And that's kind of how like our relationship is and like our friendship is as time went on, because we're such like busy people and like involved in other things. Like having that in like your back pocket and being able to just like pick up where we left off, I think it's a very healthy thing that people should understand like over time, because unless you're like someone's like significant other, you know, direct family member, you're living together, it's harder to be around and I guess like be there for some people like every single time. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
But present day, we're here. We started the podcast. Do you want to go ahead and talk about like what you want to see out of this and like what we're kind of doing it for?
Yeah. So I kind of want to use this platform to, I guess, kind of showcase what life is like for, I guess for us, really.
Yeah.
So I think we're so fucking interesting. Like, my God, like it just makes sense for us to do this podcast, like just talk about ourselves all the damn time. No, but seriously, like I kind of want to point this direction back to the podcast name, right? Did you cook rice?
Yeah.
Like we kind of touched on this, but we also agreed why it makes sense for the podcast to be called this. So, like that's a question growing up as, you know, like a Southeast Asian Filipino American. Like
your parents come home.
Parents come home. Did you cook rice yet? If you didn't cook rice, you're probably getting your ass beat.
You were definitely getting your ass
beat.
And we're going to go into the name of it. And like, if you were asked, did you cook rice? And that answer was no. And I haven't yet.
And your mama asks you while she's at work and you're at home, when you're able to cook rice.
When you were just playing video games.
Bro.
When you were still sitting on the couch cupcaking, talking to Shawty, and you did not cook rice.
Cook rice.
Yo, your ass is cooked.
Oh my God. So it's kind of like a drawback to childhood, and that's kind of what it's about, right? Like what did we experience in life, and see if others could relate or how they could also, you know, be different.
Yeah.
And I think as time goes on, we're going to bring in more and more guests who would love to, you know, come in and say their piece. Whether there's similarities or differences, I think it'd just be interesting to learn about that.
Yeah, and to kind of go off of that, with like the phrase itself, you know, it's very funny, it's catchy. Some people will kind of connect in like a cultural perspective. But my goal, I guess, for the why of why I want to do this and why we are doing this is to just be like fun and informative. Like there's going to be a bunch of different things we're going to be talking about. this episode is mainly just talking about ourselves and like going off of introductions, but being able to invite more people on and really kind of see where this kind of like goes. As long as we are like learning about others and like laughing, like it's just something fun, and it's a good way to like express ourselves in this like sort of art form.
Yeah.
Where podcasting and like talking and socializing is such a huge part of like society.
Right.
Like why not hop in and see what it's all about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
100% agree. 100% agree.
I think with that being said, this would be like a good part to wrap up. Chris, is there anything else you want to kind of hit upon?
No, not really. I mean, again, this is just the first episode, and the both of us have. You kind of had a podcast in the past. You had a few episodes in there. I recorded an episode. We dropped a little sneak peek, and it kind of just never happened. So, this one, I promise y'all, if y'all fucking with it, we're going to be consistent. We ain't no 3-pump chumps.
We'll let it rock.
We're going to let it rock.
We at least got 5 pumps.
At least 5
At
pumps.
least we're going to crank out like a 5th episode.
Yeah, easily. We'll make it happen. I mean, we're also gonna be advertising the hell out of this. By the time this episode drops, hopefully, like the goal is we're gonna have clips out there just to give you guys sneak previews, and like we really just want you guys to enjoy it, and like we'll take in any suggestions that you guys might bring in,
good or bad.
Yeah.
If this is like shit on a stick, let us know. My feelings might be
that ain't gonna stop us,
but that ain't gonna stop. Yeah. You're still gonna crank out 5 like it's nothing.
So another thing I did want to bring up, for those of you who are watching on video or just listening, you could kind of hear like an echo. We're also still trying to decide where we're gonna be recording all these. This is kind of just like to get things up and running,
like a dry run.
Right, for sure.
It's the first episode.
100%.
Yeah.
First episodes are supposed to be for it's called a pilot for a reason,
right?
Right. So. Let's see. I did want to ask you something, but we'll ask you after the recording of the podcast. Yeah, man, I don't really have anything else to say about the podcast. I really do hope you guys enjoyed it, and you learned a thing or two about us, whether it was interesting or not. Shout out to everyone that stayed to the end. Despite technical difficulties.
If you made it this far, what's your Venmo? I'll Venmo you 10. No.
Hey, he said it now.
Like, yo, I'm about to be broke. But with that being said, this has been the Did You Cook Rice podcast. I'm Donovan.
And I am Chris.
And thank you for listening.
Peace.